Somewhere in the fossil record, there are humans who never made it. Not ancient ancestors, not our grandparents 100,000 times removed. Actual humans. Different species of human. Fully developed, tool-using, fire-building, socially complex people who existed for hundreds of thousands of years and then just got deleted. And nobody talks about this. The version of human evolution you were taught has one convenient detail left out. There were others. Multiple species running at the same time as us. Some of them smarter, some of them stronger, all of them gone. And today, we're cracking open the folder nobody was supposed to find. The deleted files of the human race. Let's go. And one of those deleted files is sitting inside your DNA right now. We'll get to that. Let's start with the oldest recovered file in the bin, Homo erectus, build version 0.8, runtime approximately 1.9 million years. This is the prototype that almost became permanent. Homo erectus was the first human species to leave Africa, the first to control fire consistently, the first to develop a body shape that looks genuinely recognizable. Long legs, upright posture, a brain significantly larger than anything that came before. By every early metric, this build was working, and then it just kept going for nearly 2 million years, essentially unchanged. That's the bug that got it deleted, because evolution doesn't reward stability, it rewards adaptability. And Homo erectus found a configuration that worked and then stopped iterating, while the world around it kept changing. Climate shifting, environments transforming, new pressures emerging, the build stayed the same. 2 million years. Same tools, same moves, same everything. To put that in perspective, your phone has had 47 software updates this month. Homo erectus had 0 in 2 million years. And evolution, it turns out, has a very short patience for software that stops shipping updates. Build version 0.8 got end-of-lifed, but the next file in the bin, that one had a completely different problem. It was too good, and that almost made it worse. Now here's where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. Homo neanderthalensis, build version 2.0, runtime approximately 400,000 years. If Homo erectus was the early prototype that ran too long without updates, Neanderthals were the premium build that had everything except one thing, and that one missing thing ended them. Neanderthals were not the brutish cavemen of every bad museum exhibit. The evidence we've recovered in the last 30 years has completely demolished that image. Neanderthals buried their dead with flowers. They made jewelry. They used pigment, possibly for body paint or art. Their brains were slightly larger than ours on average. They were adapted for Ice Age Europe in ways we simply weren't. Stockier, stronger, with wider nasal passages for warming cold air, and a cold weather metabolism that gave them a genuine physical advantage in their environment. On paper, the Neanderthal build was superior for the conditions it was running in. So why did it get deleted? Neanderthals were loners. Not emotionally, socially. Their groups were small, their trade networks almost non-existent. Homo sapiens, meanwhile, were out here building the ancient world's first information network, sharing tools, techniques, and ideas across hundreds of miles. One sapiens tribe discovers a better spear tip. Within a generation, tribes 1,000 miles away are using it. One Neanderthal tribe discovers the same thing, it dies with them. That's not a hardware problem, that's a Wi-Fi problem. The Neanderthal build had better hardware, we had better networking. And here's where it gets deeply personal, because what they left behind is still inside you. And here's the part that genuinely changes how you see yourself. We didn't just replace the Neanderthals, we absorbed them. For a long time, the dominant theory was competitive replacement. Homo sapiens moved into Europe, Neanderthals couldn't compete, they went extinct. Clean story, easy to visualize. Then, in 2010, the Neanderthal genome was sequenced, and the data showed something nobody fully expected. If you have any ancestry from outside of sub-Saharan Africa, European, Asian, Middle Eastern, South American, you are carrying Neanderthal DNA right now. Roughly 1 to 4% of your genome is from the species we supposedly deleted. God's trash bin wasn't sealed. The files got merged. Some of those Neanderthal genes we're still running are genuinely useful. Variants linked to immune function, cold adaptation, even certain aspects of pain tolerance appear to have Neanderthal origin. We deleted the species and kept the best parts of the code, which means the clean extinction story is wrong. What actually happened between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals was messier, longer, and involved enough contact that the two species produced viable offspring. They didn't disappear, they dissolved, slowly, partially, into us. Homo floresiensis, the experimental compact version. Runtime, unknown, possibly as recently as 50,000 years ago. This one is genuinely weird. On the Indonesian island of Flores, isolated from the mainland by water that even the lowest sea levels never fully drained, a population of early humans got cut off. And then, over hundreds of thousands of years, they shrank. Island dwarfism is a real evolutionary phenomenon. When large animals get isolated on islands with limited resources, smaller individuals survive better, reproduce more successfully, and over generations, the whole population trends smaller. It happens with elephants, hippos, deer. It happened with humans. Homo floresiensis adults stood about a meter tall. Their brains were roughly the size of a chimpanzee's, and yet the archaeological evidence around them shows tool use, fire use, and possibly organized hunting of pygmy elephants. This is a brain running human-level cognition at a fraction of the standard size. That shouldn't work, according to everything we thought we knew about the relationship between brain size and intelligence. And yet, it apparently did. Floresiensis got deleted, probably by a volcanic eruption, possibly by us showing up. We have a habit of that. But before it went, it left one question that neuroscientists still can't fully answer. A brain the size of a grapefruit was doing things we assumed required a brain the size of a cantaloupe, which means everything we think we know about the minimum requirements for human intelligence might be wrong. And the next deleted file makes that even more unsettling, because we can barely read it at all. The Denisovans, the corrupted file. We don't have a skeleton. We have a finger bone, a few teeth, a partial jaw, and a genome. The Denisovans were identified entirely from ancient DNA extracted from fragmentary remains found in a Siberian cave. We don't know what they looked like. We don't know how they lived in any detail. We don't know the full range of territory they covered. What we do know is that they were a distinct human species, separate from both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, that lived across a wide range of Asia. And we know this because, just like the Neanderthals, they left DNA inside modern humans. Aboriginal Australians and many Pacific Islander populations carry up to 6% Denisovan DNA. Tibetan populations carry a specific Denisovan gene variant that helps them survive at high altitudes, a biological adaptation their own evolution hadn't produced, inherited from a species most people have never heard of. The Denisovans are the most deleted file in the bin, barely recoverable, mostly corrupted, and yet still running, in fragments, inside millions of people alive today. So here's what the trash bin actually tells us. Human evolution wasn't a single line from primitive to advanced. It was a parallel development project with multiple active builds running simultaneously, different versions of intelligence, sociality, adaptability, and physical design, all being tested against the same changing environment. Most of them got deleted, but deleted doesn't mean gone. The files merged, the code carried forward. We are not the final product of a clean design process. We are a patchwork. Neanderthal immune systems, Denisovan lungs, sapiens networking, running simultaneously inside one body you've been calling yourself this whole time. But here's the thing nobody tells you at the end of the evolution story. Every single species in that trash bin was deleted for a reason that made complete sense at the time. Too stable, too isolated, too small, wrong environment. And right now, today, there are traits in the human population, cognitive styles, behavioral patterns, ways of processing the world that current society treats as bugs. History has a word for what happens when the environment changes and the thing everyone called a flaw turns out to be the feature that survives. We just don't know yet which ones those are. What's your guess? Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. If this made you think differently about what you are, there's a new video every week going deeper into human evolution, behavior, and the science of what makes us, us. See you, and check out the next video.